to our Innovation Leaders series. I'm Marisa Kopek, the CEO of Lux, and here we highlight innovation leaders that we work with who are doing amazing things so you can learn from the pros. So with that, I would love to introduce Phil Clark from Neurion. Phil, welcome.
Hi, Marisa. Nice to be with you.
I think for C-level execs, you think back in business over the last 50 or 60 years, this is the hardest time to be a CEO and driving an organization. It's not just about growth anymore. We also have to save the planet, and the future is so all the ways we used to make decisions on the right projects and the right things. Those financial formulas don't really work anymore. The decision-making criteria is under disruption. And so how do you approach critical decision making? And as you look at the future and where you should be placing your bets, how are you thinking about it?
A few things on decision making. Sometimes it's not just making that decision, it's the stickiness of that decision, right? That can be challenging. So, I mentioned previously, that I had experience at 3M and even at Neurion. There's a celebration, certainly within the R&D community, where if a project is decided to be stopped, there's an element where it's still worked on, underground a bit. And so some companies will have a mechanism to do that, 15% time. There's other companies, 20% time. And so it's really important, if you want to be driving a decision such that people with their mind share have moved on from a program that has been no longer prioritized, that it needs to be sticky. Okay. And so how I feel like you get to decisions that will drive future behavior is you really lay out what went into making that decision. And so there's an element, again, there's another maybe tip or trick that I use that I think can be really impactful. And that's Amazon's approach. They have a narrative, they're very public and not using, say, PowerPoint in meetings. Instead, they will write up to a 6-page narrative. And then everyone will come together and they silently read that narrative and then have a discussion. And everyone is quite literally on the same page, right? For example, in that particular case. So I think that can be impactful. What they also have done as part of that process is they do something they call FAQs, frequently asked questions. And they identify what are the questions that they think external stakeholders should be asking and what questions are they asking of themselves. And they publish those along with the answers. To me, I've done this within product development because it's a great way to get everything on the table so that you clearly are identifying what are the questions and the answers. And now you're immediately elevating the discussion. To me, this gets to decision making because you can really say, well, why would we work on this product if it's only this much revenue or this gross margin, or it's only relevant to one particular customer? People are coming in with those questions. And I feel like as a stakeholder, you're not able to move past almost until those questions have been answered. I mean, those are the questions that you've had. And it's a great way to unlock you from waiting to hear the answer to your question before you're ready to actually participate. To me, this is critical in decision making. And I've written a few things on LinkedIn about this as a way to just get much more transparent, much more on teams collaborating. I use an example of rugby compared to NFL football. And the significance there is, if you know much about these sports, most people don't know much about rugby, is that you have an official that's talking to the players before they call a penalty. So they'll say, well, you're offsides. If you don't get back on sides, I'm going to call a penalty. If you compare that to NFL football, they don't talk to you. They immediately just throw the penalty. And that's why the game is so slow. One of the reasons why the game is slow. And to me, how I like to lead is like to lead much more like a rugby official than I do like an NFL referee. And what that really is signifying is that you have a role, no matter what your position is in the company, all the way to the CEO, you have a role, of course, in delivering the objectives, even at the team level. And so this invites much more transparent and collaborative conversation. Once you do that, when you make a decision, you're all on the same page. And so the stickiness of that decision is clear. And then you know next time what you need to do in order to have a different outcome. And it could be present already in those FAQs that are driving. So to me, that's a great trick to use. And if people want to learn more, there's also a good book for that called Working Backwards. That's great. That's written by two former executives from Amazon.
Awesome. And I just don't think I can get rid of my PowerPoint
No,
completely.
either can I. Either can I. No, I use it all the time.